This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Yes, man. Here's Tony Zane, another another Rome Bliffett.
Let's go ahead and crack open the Mid-Atlantic book from
All right.
The Midnight Express book from Jim Cornette. We covered the other day the superstars on the Superstation at the Omni.
Mm-hmm.
You want to guess what the gate was that day? Like how much the dollar revenue was?
It's probably like 80,000.
60 grand.
Okay.
So in between last week's show and this week's show, they did a big show. We covered this one before in Charlotte. 101,000 folks there for that 12,000 seater. The East Rutherford, New Jersey show at the Meadowlands, 86 grand is the house that day. Now here's a typical one. Greenwood, South Carolina on the 25th, $13,300. Wilkesboro, North Carolina, $10,461. That's a sellout.
Okay. What was Greenwood again? I'm sorry. 13,000. Did you say?
13,300.
And that was on what night of the week?
That's on the 25th.
Okay. That's probably a TV taping.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Yeah, Greenwood was one of our Mid-Atlantic worldwide TV taping venues.
Two tapings, in fact.
Yeah.
North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, sellout, $10,461. Bennetville, South Carolina, $9,441. It's also a sellout. Columbia, South Carolina on the 28th. This is 2 out of 3 falls with Midnight Express and Rock and Roll, 38,000. By the way, Crockett paid the Midnight Express $1,000 each. So that would have meant Bobby, Dennis, and Cornette $1,000 each out of that $38,000. And then here we are on March 1st. As we said later today, they're going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina. How about a $75,000 house? The next day, they're doing an afternoon show in Charlotte. How about a $73,000 house? It's remarkable. Now, again, I know some folks are going to hear those numbers and think, well, that's not a lot of money. I mean, these days, or, back pre-corona, but you got to convert that to modern money. This is $1,986, which obviously is significantly more. I mean, if you take a look and you run it through an inflation calculator, you're going to see it's not quite the same. Like $86,000 back then, at least in 2021. You want to guess, Tony, what that would be?
No, I don't want to guess. Go ahead.
205 grand.
Jesus.
So, when we say 86,000, you probably think, well, that's not that much. A $205,000 house. That's a good show for a non-pay-per-view, non-major event, just a regular live event. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Wow. Great year, huh?
I mean, when WWE was doing house shows once upon a time, not that long ago, like SmackDown was doing like 80 grand.
Yeah.
In current money.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of paid, let's mention where we are town-wise. We know right now, March 1st, everybody is in Atlanta. There's an afternoon show that same day in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Coliseum. 10,421 fans. Flair and Garvin are going to go to a double countout. We also see Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey take on the Rock and Roll Express. Dusty Rhodes is going to team with the Road Warriors and defeat the Russians. So now they're your 6-man tag team champions, I suppose. We'll find out next week. The next day, they did a matinee show at the Coliseum in Charlotte, and this one was Flair and Dusty Rhodes on top. You had Ricky and Robert working with the Midnight Express in a 2 out of 3 falls no DQ match right before. You also had Magnum TA and the Road Warriors taking on the Russians. Later that night, on the 2nd, they would be at the arena in St. Louis, Missouri, with Flair and Garvin on top. It's pretty remarkable. You guys were weekend warriors, man, to the point that there's even 2 shows on the 3rd. You've got a show in Greenville, South Carolina, and one in Canton, Ohio. 2 shows on the 4th, one in Spartanburg, one in Wheeling, Virginia. 2 shows on the 5th, one in Ohio, one in North Carolina at the Dorton Arena. 2 shows on the 6th, one in Lenoir, North Carolina, one in Columbus, Georgia. You're even going to get to the Norfolk Scope on the 7th, and that's a 12,000 seater. It'll be the first sellout for more than 6 years, and it's Magnum and Nikita and a cage match on top. You've also got Garvin working with Flair. It's pretty remarkable what you guys are accomplishing here. I mean, your first sellout in 6 years, a 12,000 seater. And then, you know, we mentioned these Coliseums and these stadiums, and I mean, an 8,000 person matinee show. Business is just on absolute fire here.
Oh yeah. You talked about Norfolk. Norfolk was one of our great towns, maybe one of our greatest towns.
Yeah.
And when we moved into WCW era, back, you know, in the days of Jim Hurd, when business was really declining, Jacksonville and Norfolk were always good towns for us. For some reason, those two towns. Maybe it's because they had strong TV. I don't know. Let me tell the Jimmy Valiant story very quick.
Please.
This goes.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.